Hello, and we're live. So what are we having a look at today then? We're going to look at some dumb flat earth arguments. If anybody's spent much time on YouTube looking at different videos and stuff, at some point you're going to come across flat earthers. And they have got to be some of the most dumbest people on the planet. Some of you might be aware that... oh, hello, Wild Didn't. Yeah, good morning. Today we're going to be looking at some flat earth... one flat earth argument. A guy called Level Earth Observer. You'll be aware that just recently Richard Branson has taken his new aircraft up to the edge of space. Successful flight, absolutely brilliant. Anyway, this guy has put out a video, basically criticising it, and we're going to take a look at that today. And then, if I've got time, I might actually look at another one of his videos that he did. I'll just share this video now, and we'll have a look to see what he has to say. If I can click on that.
So, does Richard Branson and his Virgin rocket space plane provide anything else other than the usual tosh we've gotten used to over the last 7 years? Let's have a look.
To all you kids down there, a responsive child with a dream, looking up to the stars. Now, I'm an adult in a spaceship.
Now I'm an adult in a high-altitude zero-G plane. Oh, dear. Richard, you're going to have to put more crackle in your voice, and you're going to have to add a bit more polish to this performance, because you ain't convincing anyone. Your pals in the background are just giving this nonsense away anyway. Oh, dear.
Right, so what he said there is correct, and nobody says it's anything different. It is literally an high-altitude zero-G aeroplane. The height they went to, I think, was about 55 miles up above the Earth. Of course, 55 miles above the Earth, you're not going to be in zero gravity. The Earth is still going to have a pull on you. So, yeah, that is exactly what they're in, and nobody has said otherwise. And nobody's implied otherwise. It's just you that has thought, oh, well, yeah, basically they're just in an high altitude zero-G plane. That's exactly what they're in. And nobody's trying to sell it any other way. Anyway, let's carry on.
With lots of other wonderful adults looking down to our beautiful, beautiful Earth. But the next generation of dreamers, if we can do this.
I've got to pause it there, Richard. Just now we saw quite a large amount of curve. Now it would seem the Earth is concave. So clearly the curvature, what we're seeing here, whether it be extreme or concave, is clearly optical and not physical. Otherwise the curve we'd see from your pantomime plane would kind of relate to each other. Not 1 minute a small amount of curve, then the next minute a gigantic bit of curve, then the very next minute concave Earth. Clearly ridiculous, Richard.
Just imagine what you...
And just to address that one there. Just a minute. But yes, it's true. It's due to the lens. It's a fisheye lens or a wide angle lens, and it's causing optical distortion. I don't think you realise this, you flat earthers, that when people go up to space, they're not interested in what you think. They have not bothered what you think at all. They use a camera that is going to give them the best view possible. And fisheye lenses, wide-angle view lenses can give distortion where it'll be concave, convex, it'll be flat. They don't care. They're not interested in what flat earthers say. That is just a wide-angle lens or a fisheye lens to give a better view. That's all it is. They don't care that you think the shape of the Earth is flat. You're nothing to them. Yeah, we'll carry on with the rest of it.
You can do.
And then we go to that shot of curve, which, if my memory serves me correct, is about the same amount of curve James May cited from the U-2 spy plane at 70,000 feet. Ridiculous.
Yeah, clearly using a different lens. That camera's obviously outside. It's giving a better view. There's still probably going to be some sort of distortion there. But again, they're not doing this to try and prove that the Earth is a globe. They don't care what you silly flat earthers think. And just a quick one there, I've just noticed. Let me just see. Oh, yeah. Level Earth Observer, you missed that bit. I'm really surprised. I've just brought this back. You'll see a space bubble. I'm really surprised he hasn't come up with this one, because I just saw a little thing come up there, and it's usually what they argue is a space bubble, which it's not. It's just like ice or something like that coming off the side of the aircraft.
Ridiculous.
There he goes.
It's just a glammed up zero-G plane. That's it. We've got good old Beth in the back there in her wide open, blown away pose that she likes to use. Her mouth is always open here for these publicity shots, as if to say, I'm blown away. But what we're seeing is just a zero-G plane and ridiculous visuals. Ugh.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. They're promoting the new aircraft that they're starting to use, and people are going to be able to go up in these aircraft and be able to see this for themselves. That's exactly what they're doing. They're selling it, and good on them. And yes, they are in a zero-G plane. Nobody's argued anything different. They're 55 miles above the Earth. The gravitational pull on you is still going to be there at 55 miles. I don't know what distance you would need to be from the Earth to be in zero-G, but just on the edge of space, at 55 miles, you are still going to have a gravitational pull. So yes, they're in a zero-G plane. Nobody's tried to say that it's anything different than that.
Notice that window trim there seemed a bit loose.
Yeah, it's just a piece of rubber that goes around the window. It's not a seal, it's just a piece of rubber. It moves. It's rubber.
We got Beth there with her mouth wide open, blown away. I wonder if her jaw ached after this promotion. The Earth's concaved, everyone.
Again, it's all to do with the lens. They're not interested in what flat earthers think. They don't go up there to think, oh, we'll try and show the flat earthers that there isn't a curve. They're not interested in what you think.
You gotta love good old Beth. Constantly got her mouth open here for these publicity shots. I mean, who looks like that? Even me looking out that window, I'm sorry, my mouth wouldn't be open like that. Ridiculous, particularly given the fact the Earth looks again slightly concaved.
Due to the lens.
And then we come to the top two boys here. Hang on, let's come back a smidge. There they are. Motorbike hats, boiler suits, washing up gloves, and Spitfire breathing apparatus. But bearing in mind, just behind them, all the people we've just seen jumping about in their zero-G plane haven't got protection, just highlighting the absurdity of all this. I don't think they've got anywhere near as high as they say they have, just a bit higher than your average zero-G planes. And of course, given that, they get a little bit more zero-G time. That is all this is, just a zero-G plane, glammed up with a bit of space propaganda sprinkled on it. I'm very disappointed. I foolishly thought here that they might have upped their game and used this as a great opportunity to cite something that would give the space fans something to be proud of. But no, they've just dumped on the very person and his virgin and this
Go.
Virgin rocket space plane
Sorry about
provide anything
I'll
else
just fast forward
other
it
than
again.
the usual tosh we've gotten used to over the last 7 years. Let's have a look.
Bear with me. There's a rubber bit.
Notice that window trim there seemed a bit loose. We got Beth there with her mouth wide open, blown away. I wonder if her jaw ached after this promotion. Earth's concaved, everyone. You gotta love good old Beth. Constantly got her mouth open here for these publicity shots. I mean, who looks like that? Even me looking out that window, I'm sorry, my mouth wouldn't be open like that. Ridiculous, particularly given the fact the Earth looks again slightly concaved. And then we come to the top two boys here. Hang on, let's come back a smidge. There they are. Motorbike hats, boiler suits, washing up gloves, and Spitfire breathing apparatus. But bearing in mind, just behind them, all the people we've just seen jumping about in their zero-G plane haven't got protection. Just highlighting the absurdity of all this.
No, the two pilots have got them the breathing apparatus on, because if there was to be a depressurization, they would instantly pass out. So they need to make sure that they are fully protected. They can put the plane into a dive, get down to altitude where there'll be oxygen, and the people in the back will be all right. They need to stay conscious through the whole thing. That's why they've got the breathing apparatus on. Plus, you're taking tourists up into space. They don't want to be wearing stuff like that. The chances of a depressurization is very low, but there is still a risk of depressurization. They need to make sure that they won't be affected by it should it happen. The people in the back should be perfectly fine. They'll bring them down to altitude where they'll be able to breathe again. They need to be protected. You're trying to sell a product here, which is true. That's what they're doing. They're trying to sell a product. People want to go up there. Would you want to go up there wearing suits like that? Or would you want to go up, wait and wear, a boiler suit? I know which I'd prefer to wear, the boiler suit. But I prefer them to make sure that they're fully protected should anything happen.
I don't think they've gone anywhere near as high as they say they have, just a bit higher than your average zero-G planes. And of course, given that, they get a little bit more zero-G time. That is all this is. Just a zero-G plane, glammed up with a bit of space propaganda sprinkled on it.
It is a zero-G plane that goes up to the edge of space.
Very disappointed. I foolishly thought here that they might have upped their game and used this as a great opportunity to cite something that would give the space fans something to be proud of. But no, they've just dumped on the very people that have to defend this tosh. Oh dear, who would have...
They honestly do not care about you flat earthers. They do not do videos like this and go, right, what can we do to show the flat earthers that they're wrong? They have got no interest in what you flat earthers think because you're dumb.
For utter fucking nonsense. And just before I go, here's the flight profile for a zero-G plane. And here's the flight profile for Richard Branson's space plane. It's exactly the same. Essentially, Richard Branson's space tourism charade is essentially a zero-G plane glammed up to go a little bit higher and provide a little bit longer in a zero-G environment. That's it. Who would have thought?
And nobody has ever argued any different. That's exactly what they're doing. And nobody's saying that it's not a zero-G plane. It is. It's 55 miles up. Crazy. Anyway, there was another one I wanted to look at on Level Earth Observer's channel. Let me just see if I can suss out how to do this. Just bear with me while I just go to his channel. Ah, that's the one. Right, so I want to stop screen share, and then I want to share again. How do I do that? That's the one. Add to screen. Yeah, this was another one that he put up that I wanted to cover. I'll just make that larger. Yeah, so this is another one from Level Earth Observer. I think it's only about 4 minutes. Yeah, 4 minutes long. I just want to cover this one just a sec. We'll just watch this. And this is how dumb flat earthers are. If you ever want to laugh, Google flat earth arguments. Brilliant. It'll make your day.
If there's one thing I do love about globe science is the fact it actually wakes people up to the globe lie. Indirectly, of course, but it wakes people up. Now, it's been 24 hours since I put out the challenge regarding the 3 fundamentals, which of course destroy the globe. Essentially, I challenged globe believers to cite 3 scientific demonstrations. 1, being a large standing body of water displaying convexity upon its surface. 2, providing a demonstration of a 2-meter tall plus pendulum travelling that was plumb and dead still. And 3 was to provide a scientific demonstration of an air pressure system next to a vacuum without solid separation. I know those scientific demonstrations are impossible because reality tells me so. And of course, reality tells me the globe's impossible. So I didn't expect much back. Bearing in mind, we've been waiting 6 years for any kind of demonstrable science that might suggest reality is different from what it displays itself as. But of course, it's not. Reality is very simplistic and very obvious to the people that can display honesty, have logic and discernment, and are not suffering from Dunning-Kruger. So let's have a look at what was cited. We didn't get much. We got 1 scientific demonstration cited as somehow proof. And like all globe science, all it does is highlight the absurdity of this globe nonsense. So let's have a look. This was the 1 scientific demonstration cited, and it was supposed to replicate a 2-meter tall pendulum travelling that was dead still and plumb. Before obviously trying to replicate a tower crane on a moving surface, okay? But before we've even begun here, what becomes quite obvious is we don't have a string or any rope here. We have like a metal arm. It looked like maybe a joint in the middle, I don't know, or just a duct tape holding this metal arm together. I'm not entirely sure. So already we're not representing a pendulum. It's obviously not 2 meters tall because it's inside a car. So already we're way off the mark here before we've even begun. But let's entertain this pantomime science. Naturally, it's all over the place. You will never see a pendulum, or in this case, a rod, dead still, plumb whilst it's traveling. It needs to be a pendulum on string, guys, over 2 meters tall. I think it's pretty obvious at this point in time. So you citing this stuff, even if it settles down a bit like it is now, it's still not plumb. It's still moving about. It's still not a representation of what I've asked for, and you still can get it to work. And this is your globe science. Rods pretending to be pendulums. Guys, at no point was it dead still and plumb. It's not even a pendulum as such. It's more like a 360 digger's arm. Dear, oh dear. This was the one bit of science cited to somehow prove that reality is wrong. Sorry, guys. I appreciate whoever this was, QED, having a go at this. Come on, fella. What were you thinking? It's supposed to be a string line. Yeah? It's supposed to be representing a tower crane. Hundreds, in some cases, over 1,000 feet tall, which is why I gave you the benefit of the doubt by saying that the pendulum has to be 2 meters tall. I'm trying to help you out here. Obviously, the taller the pendulum, the more it's going to swing. You know that, really. That's why you've cited a stiff arm. But this is your globe science. Clearly, it doesn't even come under any kind of branch of science other than, I guess, comedy or pantomime. And that is why I don't take these people seriously. Dear, oh dear.
Hello YouTube, this is Dazza the cameraman. Today is Wednesday.
Yeah, sorry. Cheers for that. No audio. My bad. Right, the first. Well, I'll go back to the first one. The bob in the car. That was a perfect example of a if it was on a rotating Earth, you had a bob, they're saying that it would move about if we're rotating. That just demonstration in the car, basically putting the bob on it. Once it got up to speed, the bob was virtually stable. Yes, there was a little bit of movement about, but there's going to be. It's in a vehicle. The vehicle's moving along the road. The road isn't perfectly flat. So I think that was a good demonstration. Next one was air pressure next to a vacuum. Basically, what they're arguing is the globe. You've got the air pressure, the atmospheric pressure on the Earth. It's next to the vacuum of space. Why doesn't the atmosphere shoot off into space? Of course, we know why it doesn't. It's gravity. Gravity holds the atmosphere to the Earth. We've got a gravity gradient. So the further you go up in altitude, the air pressure gets less and less and less. Once you get to about 11,000 feet is where you're advised to take oxygen. So whether you're in an aircraft or whether you're climbing up a mountain, once you get to approximately 11,000 feet, you're advised to have oxygen with you. Can they explain that? If they're arguing that the Earth has a dome over it, it's a flat plane, it has a dome over the top of it, and that's what keeps the pressure in. Well, the only way you're going to get pressure in that system is if the pressure that's there is pushing on all the sides, just like it does in an air tank. The pressure pushes on all sides. If you take the top off this, of course, it's all going to shoot out. Like, obviously, if I can just do it, you'll hear it. Obviously, the air tries to get out of the bottle. On the Earth, we've got gravity. So, like I say, you've got the pressure gradient. And my question to them is what is the atmosphere pushing on? The higher you go, there's no air pressure or very little air pressure. It's less and less and less when you go up. What's causing it to get less and less and less? If you're saying that it's pushing on a container, it clearly isn't, because we can go that high that there's virtually no air pressure left. What's causing that? You can't explain it. And also, you don't need to demonstrate an air pressure system next to a vacuum. All you need to do is show an air pressure system next to a low air pressure system. Obviously, I'm in an air pressure system at the moment, which is the atmosphere. I've got a high pressure system here, which is in my diver's bottle. I open that up, and the air comes out. Doesn't need to be, this tank doesn't need to be in a vacuum. It just needs to be in a lower air pressure. Obviously, if I was in a container or that tank was in a container that had exactly the same amount of pressure in it than what's in this bottle, when you opened it up, nothing would happen because it would already be equalized. So you do not need to show high pressure next to a vacuum. You just need to show high pressure next to low pressure. And I'm going to do that now. Let me just show you how that would work. Share screen. Just bear with me. I don't need new audio. Right, you should be able to see that. That is high pressure next to low pressure. As you can see, just to the west of the UK, you've got a low pressure system. And to the east and to the north, you've got low pressure system, a high pressure system. So you've got low pressure systems and high pressure systems next to each other without a container. What is containing that low pressure system and that high pressure system there? Of course, it's not good enough for them, but that makes no, never mind. So I think that has answered the three questions that you wanted. The demonstration with the vehicle showed perfectly well how a bob will stay level once it's up to speed, and that we do not feel a constant speed when you're traveling in a car, an airplane, or train. Once you're up to constant speed, you don't feel it. Yeah, we've got movement up and down because obviously you're on tracks or you're on the road, or if you're in an aeroplane, you've got the movement of the plane going. It doesn't fly perfectly level. There is slight movement on it, but you don't feel the forward motion. You're traveling in an aeroplane at 500 miles an hour. You don't feel the 500 mile an hour force of the aeroplane. You'll feel acceleration and you feel deceleration. You do not feel a constant speed, which is why when you're on the Earth, it's rotating at the equator at 1,040 miles an hour. You don't feel that 1,040 miles an hour. Why would you? Like I say, high pressure, low pressure systems next to each other. We see that every day with weather patterns. So that's that done. And I think that's about as far as I wanted to go with this. But yeah, if you want to laugh, go and look up Level Earth Observer. It's one of the dumbest flat earthers. Well, they're all dumb, aren't they, flat earthers? But yeah, he's one of the dumbest flat earthers, is that guy. So anyway, I think I'll end it here. I think I've covered it. I don't know how long I've been on. How long have I been on? Oh, half an hour. That's not bad just for throwing it together. I thought I'd put this one on when I was watching YouTube this morning, and what came up, Level Earth Observer, with his stupid debunking of, well, not debunking, his criticism of Richard Branson's space flight, and basically saying it's a glorified zero-G plane, which is exactly what it is. And they've not tried to say that it's anything different. Anyway, I'll end it here, and I hope you all enjoy your day. The sun's just started to come out here, actually. It's turning out to be a gorgeous day once some clouds disappear. So I'm going to go and enjoy the sun because I've still got 2 days off before I'm back at work. So I'll catch you all later. I'll put my little video back on for the end of it. Isn't it density, Paul? Oh, yeah. Mark Caesar. Yeah. Density and buoyancy. That's what they say. Yeah, they're right. Density, buoyancy, gravity. They miss the gravity bit out. Without the gravity, density and buoyancy doesn't work. Because what's making... I don't get this. How they don't understand it. So they're saying it's buoyancy and density. What is actually making an object go down? What makes it go down? Why doesn't it go up or go left or go right? Why down? Something's going on. Something is causing everything to go down. If I take this here and drop it, it will fall down. Why does it fall down? They say it's buoyancy and density. But the air is the same all the way around it. So how does it know to go down? Why don't it go sideways or up? Down? Gravity. They can never explain it and make any sense when they try and explain it. Isn't it density, Paul? Devil's advocate, yeah. I'll just have a look through comments. Yeah, sorry about that, Wild Eden. Yeah, I forgot to turn my thing on my mic. I muted myself, so I'm probably waffling for 5 minutes. One flirt argument. There are as many as that. Yeah, there is. I don't think I've seen you on before. What was that? Fred Bailey. Hi, Fred. Anyway, I'm going to end it here. I don't want to be waffling on too much. Hope you all enjoy your day. And check out some Flat Earth videos. They're good for a laugh. Right, I'll just put my video back on.